Remember the classic movie The Fly, the original one with Vincent Price? The public got introduced to mutants and mutations with that movie. What happened? Well, there was a scientist who was trying to teleport himself. He had a cabinet where he was going to be disassembled and reassembled in another cabinet. Fortunately, what happened was that a fly got into the cabinet with him, and his molecules got mixed up with the fly's molecules. Basically, his DNA and the fly's DNA intermingled, and there was a mutation. Well, the term mutation comes from the Latin, meaning to change. And sure enough, there was a change. Well, today we're talking about mutants and mutations as well. Why? Because it is on everyone's lips, thanks to the coronavirus, so-called because of the spike proteins on its surface, which stick out like a crown. All right, what are we talking about here when we're talking about mutations? Here's my virus. Everything that this virus does is controlled by its genetic machinery, which is inside of the virus in the form of a long molecule called RNA, ribonucleic acid. This is the blueprint for everything this virus does, including the generation of those proteins. Proteins are chains of amino acids, and these little beads on this molecule, each one represents a fundamental unit called a nucleotide. 3 nucleotides in a row tell this virus which amino acid to pick up and start the synthesis of a protein, like that protein. So one set of 3 will code for one amino acid. The next set will code for another amino acid. So what we are doing here is taking the instructions from this RNA molecule and building a protein. That protein is important in many ways, especially if it is this spike protein, because that's what the molecule or what the virus uses to gain entry into a human cell so that it can replicate. Well, once it is inside the cell and starts to replicate, what happens is that these RNA molecules start to reproduce until there are enough of them to basically make up another virus. However, with every replication here, there's a chance of an error, that a different nucleotide may somehow get incorporated, and therefore a different protein may form. So what does that mean? Well, I've got all my ducks lined up in a row here, but suppose there was a change in this molecule, and that means that one of these amino acids now is replaced by another one. And that may have an effect on the protein, on the structure of the spike protein, so that now it may fit better into a receptor on a cell so that it can invade the cell more easily, multiply faster, there are more viruses created, greater infection is possible. Now, any time that a virus replicates in a body, there's always a chance of making such an error. So this is not something unusual. The question is where that error is. It may be in a totally innocuous part of the molecule. For example, if this amino acid is changed for another one, it may make no difference whatsoever. But if a critical one is changed, that may matter. So where does this leave us? There will always be mutations. The question is, are they going to be dangerous or not? And some eventually may be, others are not. But in the meantime, we know that every time that a virus multiplies, there's a chance for a mutation. So we got to keep these viruses from multiplying by preventing entry into our body. So what's the bottom line here? Certainly we should be using masks, because then we are protecting ourselves from entry of the virus into our body, and we're also protecting others from dispensing the virus. So now you have an idea for what mutation is all about. And next time you get a chance to watch The Fly, go ahead and do it. It was a great movie.